All right.
Okay.
Intro.
Almost there.
We're almost there. Intro. Seems like everything's going wrong right now. All right, go ahead.
It's like
Intro. Introducciones.
painful watching you get yourself squared away.
It's like you wipe your glasses and you're like, oh, yeah, I'll wipe. I shouldn't be wiping it with the shirt, but I don't have my glass.
The soft thing.
Yeah.
I have like one in the truck and one in the Jeep.
Yeah, this is so bad for glasses.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Intro. Let's go.
I always forget. But anyways, yeah. Chris Garcia with Team United. Welcome to Beyond the Mats.
Yeah. That's
Let's
good.
get started.
That's good.
Let's do this.
I like it. We came a long way, sir.
Yeah.
From
It'll probably get better the more and more I do it. I just don't.
I think so.
It's like a monkey going at me. Like, do the trick. I'm like, fuck you. throw the poop at him.
I could see that. I could see the sense where you're like, stop telling me what to do.
Yeah.
Or like, but you know we need to do it. We need to do it. As much as it sucks, we need to do it.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Technical difficulty.
Already.
We just started. That part will get edited out.
Yeah.
I think you're doing the wrong one. Yeah, that's the wrong one. That's all right.
My life. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
It just isn't tight enough.
It's tapered. This end.
Oh.
It's not completely square. But as long as I just stop messing with it like a freaking ADD crackhead.
You think crackheads have ADD?
I don't know. I dare not to investigate. Speaking of that, I got to go take graffiti pictures for my daughter's journalist project. That's going to be fun. Anyway, so we did the intro. Now you have to introduce me. Come on. Bring it in. Air hug.
No.
You're going to have to introduce. No.
No hugs.
You're going to have to. The price is to get beat up. We all know that. That's the price.
I already did one intro. That was very difficult for me.
Yeah, you have to introduce the yeah.
So introduce you.
You can just call me Junior, though.
I know.
Don't call me by my government name.
I won't. All right, Junior. You've been training at the gym for, I don't even know, 6 months? Summer, right before summer?
Well, let's not count May because of COVID. And so I would say since March or April is when I met you and joined. You told me to, go to other gyms. And I was like, nope, I ain't got time for that shit. I know what I want. I'm a guy that knows what he wants until he doesn't. But yeah, I think it was March.
Yeah.
March.
Huh.
April. So March. Oh no, I caught COVID in the middle of April, and I ended up talking to you again in May. But we texted. You hit me up and asked if I'm okay. I let you know I had COVID, and then I ended up coming back either end of May or very beginning of June.
Mm-hmm.
And that's So yeah, close to six months. I've known you at least, or I've known the gym.
Yeah.
So let's just make that. Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
6 months.
Absolutely. Found you on the Googs. And you were closer to me, so you won by default. You won by gas prices.
Yay.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and it was you're in the middle of nowhere. Like, it was actually quite impressive going into your gym. Because I was like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's going to be a garage martial artist where his mats are probably not even going to be bordered. He's
gaps.
Yeah, like, but then, the wood framing to keep the mats together.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this guy's not going to have anything. He's a retired fighter. He's in, it didn't look long, right? But I was like, geez, okay, Junior, you have a big habit of training with people in a garage. What the hell, But when I opened the gym door, I was like, oh shit. Oh, this place is clean and it's legit. I like this place, and it's close.
Smells like bleach.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, it smells clean.
I'd rather smell that than all the other stuff we smell. But yeah,
the funk. Ugh.
So 5-6 months, yeah. And hopefully that just gets longer and longer, and maybe next time around we'll be like, oh, 5 years, So I tend to stick around like a.
Yeah.
I tend to stick around. I tend to stick around. Yeah. You guys know.
Yeah.
You guys know. Yeah, I tend to stick around. So yeah, 6 months. 5-6 months. It's been fun. Very fun.
All right. You have let's see, we chatted about I don't even remember when we chatted. Oh yeah. You wanted to go down like memory lane.
Yeah, that was fun because we talked about. I ranted on our last conversation about my martial arts history, right?
Yeah, you give it brief.
Okay, super brief.
Yeah,
I started in my 20s
because I learned things that I didn't know.
Yeah, you're
like
not,
you know how like but you don't get like the numbers or whatever, like the exact knowing of it.
Yeah, we never sat down. I was more intrigued with your history. It just seems like you're more interested. I think I've already known my history, so digging back into this bullshit, I'm not interested. So I was more pricking at your history. I was more interested in getting to know that.
We'll give yours just a quick, like you got X amount of fights, you trained at this gym, that gym.
Oh,
just
yeah.
Quick rundown.
So to start it off, this was 13 to 15 years ago. Okay, so nothing recent. Started off, so I have about amateur MMA fights. I have about 19 of them. 4-1 lightweight, 10-4 featherweight. I'm still proud of that. I mean, so anyway, did kickboxing. So I trained at American Kickboxing Karate in Hayward, small place. Then I've trained at Half Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in Dublin. I've trained at Donzon Rue Jiu-Jitsu in Livermore. He traveled around. I trained at AKA before. I've trained at Shamrock Martial Arts, was a lot of the bulk. But he closed down. And then my last stint was with West Point MMA in San Jose. And they're closed down too. The sad reality of it is a lot of good places closed down, So yeah, most of my 20s.
I wonder why. Do you have any idea why? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
The face says it all. I'm good.
Yes. So I've heard in the wind why the Shamrock Academy closed down. There's a lot of stuff in the back scene. However, I don't know the true story. Mm-hmm. I looked for Frank Shamrock's talking about it, but he talks about everything else except that, which kind of says something to me. Man. Yeah, so yes, the other one, I believe I believe they just went under financial. They were spending a lot, like West Point MMA. I believe they just went under. The owner, he had a huge settlement from an injury, and he started an MMA school. Mm-hmm. And we were all not excommunicado from the Shamrock Academy, but we all called ourselves kind of like the misfits. Uh-huh. I left the Shamrock Academy because I was ready to go pro, but they weren't interested in 145ers. And I wasn't interested in going back up to 155 because they were fucking giants. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no way. So, but yeah, that's my history.
All right.
Kickboxing, but a lot of my striking, which makes sense about my stance, was based off of just more of MMA training. So I never really sat in a traditional kickboxing training. It was just more of, MMA, learn some kickboxing, learn some Muay Thai, learn some boxing. We mesh it all together and we go. So, and they gave us a hybrid stance, but apparently that hybrid stance is not really good for if you're just striking or kickboxing someone. Yeah, do you hear that when that turns on? You hear that? Yeah, it's picking it up.
That's stupid.
I think so.
So I'll try to warm this place up way beforehand.
Way before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my that's my martial arts history, and that's what triggered going down memory lane because we talked about how much weight the traveling. We talked about your traveling, which was pretty fun. Traveling's
always fun. I enjoyed traveling. when I had a fighter fighting and we had to travel for wherever that was. That was always fun. In fact, it was a memory that popped up just, I don't remember when, on the Facebook. My younger brother, I don't even know what the hell he was thinking. He's so weird. It kind of reminded me of my own story, but I called him up and we had a fight at the Pechanga Casino down in California. And this is obviously like months before the fight. And I was like, you want to fight? He's like, yeah, I want to fight. And I'm like, okay. I didn't think you were going to say yes. Right? I didn't fight. Anyway, so he did. He said yes. And so we put him in a fight with, that I remember. Yeah, it's funny. I got a bad memory, but some things I can remember. But anyway, we put him in a fight with a kickboxer, Muay Thai guy. And my brother ended up hitting him with a right hand, and then the Muay Thai guy took him down. And then, of course...
Oh, that's ironic.
Yeah.
That's ironic.
Of course, Michael has no ground game at all. He's just, obviously, just street fighter raw.
Right.
And anyways, it was just... That was one of many traveling funny stories that I think I'll always remember. And I ended up getting super sick. Right after the fight, all my family was there. All of our family was there. And after the fight, I was sick. I was done. And I was in bed most of the next day. I think we flew out probably or at some point. But I was sick and I ended up not hanging out with my family. So that kind of sucked because I didn't get to see them often enough.
Yeah, traveling has always been fun. You get to see so much aside from the fighting, like just going down there, what you experience is pretty fun. I don't have any fun traveling, or no, there is one fun traveling one. It was in San Diego. It wasn't a fight. It was just to go out there to train. And we had family out there in a place called Serra Mesa. And it was a good thing that I went out there and we all just went to go visit my dad's sister. So my dad, my brother, and his then girlfriend, I think, or wife, I don't remember. They all go to Tijuana. Well, his girlfriend has a green card. So she's not even a legal citizen. I come back from training and I'm laying on the floor and my mom's like, Junior, you got to go down to Tijuana. And I was like, I'm never going to that place ever again. That place is too wild. She was like, no, they're stuck. I was like, what do you mean they're stuck? Well, apparently they wouldn't let my sister-in-law cross the border because she forgot her green card.
Oops.
So it's not a fight traveling, but that was pretty freaking hilarious where I was like, my brother's not going to be able to have his wife anymore. like, sorry, bro, you're going to have to kiss her through the fence. So I was making jokes. It was super scary for her though. They ended up coming back like she was stuck down there for like hours, 6-7 hours. My uncle, which was he was a officer in the Navy. He wasn't able to do anything, obviously, but apparently my dad paid them to let her go, like let her back into the country. So he had to pay them, and I was like
sometimes
like pay. He was like, yeah, we paid him. I was like, I don't think it's supposed to work that way. But anyway, I think that's funny. I have dark humor, I guess. And my brother was freaking stressed out. They came back. I was rolling my ass off. Yeah, I had a funny story to tell the next day in training. It was pretty funny. Like, I almost lost my sister-in-law, like, damn, they want to keep everyone there.
Almost didn't let her back.
Almost. But yeah, I don't have any super funny traveling stories. It was always like, since I lived in California, right, I didn't have to fly anywhere. It was just mostly driving. Other than, yeah, just nothing really. It's cool that you have some cool traveling. Like, you went to China. That must be like, you have that on your mantle where it's like, dude, I went to China, fought and won. It's like cherry on top of cherry on top of cherry. How was China, by the way? Like, do you remember, like, how was your stay other than fighting?
The the travel, I mean, that was the first time I'd been on a plane that long. I think it was 12 hours. It was a long flight. It was like 4 movies worth, I think, or something like that. I don't know.
Counting it by movies. I love it.
Yeah, and you get to watch,
And you traveled in those big planes.
they were huge.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
big
they
ones,
got the rows on each side and one down the middle. It was big. But anyways, yeah, no, it was cool. It was the first one was 2 flights because we flew out of Seattle to Beijing and then from Beijing to, I think it's the Zhengzhou province. I don't know. I think. But anyways, so it was like 2 flights. It was Beijing airport is huge. It's like ginormous. I don't really remember like when. Oh, yeah, I do. And then, yeah. So like, we land in. I might be confusing the 2 trips, but we were driving and the skyscrapers there are I mean, like, they're probably the same as anywhere else, I suppose. I don't really know because I don't really go to the city much. But anyways, they're huge skyscrapers. That was cool. The town that we stayed in was a very small town. I do remember one kind of funny story was, so the first trip was Charlie and Johnny and myself. And Johnny is just this like good looking buff white kid. And by good looking, I mean like he's good looking. If I was a girl, but he's married. Anyways,
if you were a girl, Pound Town.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'd tear it up. He's good looking.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to meet him or see him. Send me a picture.
It's on the line. He's a head coach for Arlington right now, wrestling.
Okay. All right.
So anyways, we're walking around what seems to be a very small town, I think. And then one of the days we were walking around, obviously school just got out because all these little kids are running around everywhere. But when we're walking, I don't walk fast. I just don't. And so Charlie and Johnny were walking up ahead of me, and I was a bit back. And I'd watch people's reactions because I don't think that there were a lot of Americans in this town ever. I think, I don't know, just looking at the reaction, right? They were looking at them like, I don't know, like weird.
Who are you?
Like
who? Yeah, the $50 looks.
Like who are you? You know, and then I would walk behind. I would be coming up on the 6, and I was covered in tattoos, and that's Johnny doesn't have any he does now, but he didn't then, and so I'm like in tattoos and a tank top, and then they look at me, and they're not looking. They were looking at me like, "What are you?
What is this?
Yeah, what are you?
What is this creature?
What is that? This guy, this brown guy.
Who is this thing
covered in tattoos?
Got a bunch of shapes on him.
Yeah, that was a funny one. And then cutting weight was weird. In a room full of naked dudes. The shitters are on the floor.
Is it flush with the floor?
Yeah.
So you literally have to pop a squat.
Yeah.
There you
go. The food, I don't remember. No, I had duck the first trip because I didn't have to cut any weight because I was already. I mean, I did like 1 or 2 pounds. That's not cutting weight, but so I could eat regular, and I did, and I had duck over there. It was really fucking good. What else? Just trying to remember that first trip.
That's just so cool to get to travel and have that experience.
Yeah. We got stuck at the airport. That was so dumb.
That sounds normal for a lot of people traveling, though.
Well,
stuck at the airport again.
So when you fight for someone, they fly you over, pay for your hotel and stuff. They booked our trip. We were stuck at the airport. I think it was for like 12 hours. So obviously we were drinking. Well, we were drinking beers where you pull the tab thing back. It's not like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Anyways, so we drank a lot of those.
Whatever it was, you pulled it back.
We were drinking it. We were drinking. We were not sober. I won't say the other part that Johnny was doing, but that shit was funny. We were getting tired, ready to, go to sleep, pass out, whatever you want to call it. There was no, and the Beijing airport's huge, but we found, I don't really remember, but I think it was we found like an office that was kind of under construction, or it was like an area. We kind of opened the door forcefully to get in. And then we found it was cool because there was like a couple couches there. I think Johnny passed out, and then Charlie and I continued to drink, and we continued doing things. And anyway, yeah. So
I am interested in what those things are, but we can talk about that later.
That would be off of camera.
Yeah, off camera.
Yeah. So
that'll be another podcast on another YouTube channel that you won't know about.
We'll just leave it at we were drinking. We just had some beers. But that one. Yeah, fight trips are fun because there's always stories. I like stories.
No,
if you can remember.
Yeah, the one fight that the flight would have been paid for was the one in Hawaii, the first pro fight we were trying to lock in. I was super excited about that because I was more excited about going to Hawaii and visiting BJ Penn than actually fighting. I was just like, dude, a free trip.
Yeah.
To go to BJ Penn. This gym and just meet him, I'm all for it. They were gonna pay us. The purse was $1,000 no matter whether you win or lose, and depending on if you win, it's $2,000, and depending if you got a bonus. Right? Here's the funny thing: like our flights back then, the round trips in the summer was very expensive. So basically, if we lose, we pay for our flight.
Yeah.
Right, and if we win, then that pays for our hotel. So if we lose, we're actually paying money to go fight, going out to Hawaii. But I was like...
So you had to buy your own flight and hotel to go fight? Huh. I think there's promotions nowadays that kind of do that, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, like it wasn't... how was it? Like, it wasn't an invitation. Like they didn't go, hey, we want your team to come fight. We actually submitted registration forms. So we went out there. And we weren't main cards or anything. We were just undercards. So I don't know, but we also didn't have to have a pro fight license either. That's why we were going out there.
For the state?
For the state of Hawaii. Yeah. Like or at least that venue, we didn't need it. From what I was being told. They're like, yeah, it's a pro fight. There's money involved and you don't need a license. I was like, that sounds very illegitimate. I'm down. Yeah. I was like, because we there was a waiting list in Sacramento to take the test, and from what we heard, the test was easy. Like if you can go through training in the gym and pass that, and just survive through that, the physical test for the athletics commission at that time, I heard it was easy. But that was the closest thing that would be like money involved, and I was so excited because for years. Didn't make no money. But as an amateur, I don't think I met any amateur that was ever sponsored. Doesn't mean that they're not. I just, back then, that was going pro is make a little money. And unfortunately, I was a day late, dollar short, a couple messed up knees and a messed up shoulder. So, yeah. Oh, it's one of the reasons why I also came to you.
Huh.
It's because you had a fight record. Like, you know what it is to, like, I think competing and just training recreational, it's two different mindsets, in my opinion. And having a coach that knows competition, there's a certain element there that's distilled into the training, which you're obviously you're not a fight camp, but I still felt like there was going to be a certain level of certain kind of mindset that I'm looking for. So that was remember that. Like, oh yeah. You were a fighter. So
I was, yeah.
So I don't the last traditional dojo I was in, he wasn't a fighter, but he still competed. But it's just, to me, it was a different mindset. Way different mindset. So yeah. It's interesting.
I think that I can't think of, there are really good coaches that, well, I mean, I don't know. Trying to think. I know that there are coaches out there that haven't competed a bunch, or maybe haven't competed, but they're still phenomenal coaches. I think that's a thing.
Well, you know tons more than I do. Because you're in it all my life. Or almost all 20-some years?
Almost 20.
Yeah. Yeah. Majority, more than half of my life. How does that feel?
I don't know.
Like, it's normal to you, right?
Yeah.
Like, going through it every day.
Yeah.
It's normal if someone does it every day. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Excuse the dumb
It's
questions.
not normal if you don't do it.
Yeah, it's not normal to you if you don't do it.
Yeah. You guys are weird. I can't believe you don't like getting punched in the face. Who doesn't like getting punched in the face?
I only like it in the moment. Like many things. Then I regret after.
I don't know. I don't think I'm getting to that phase yet of regret.
Well, I think you do have to have that intimacy with the feeling of it all to continually do it, like pro fighting and stuff like that, and get really into that. I think you should have at least somewhat of an intimacy of the pain and know the value of it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
it's useful.
I think so. Like we were talking about it earlier, like that's also a perishable skill. Like
your toughness.
Yeah, tolerance and toughness. Like,
well, that's a good word, tolerance.
Yeah, it goes away. I've experienced that last 13 years being away from it. Like it goes away, but it comes right back. You know, like it'll come back.
Body gets soft,
so to speak. Yes.
Yeah.
In many ways, the body does get soft. Yeah, that's important.
Because your mind has to make your body tough.
Yeah, the mind doesn't.
You get the bumps and bruises, but then you have to tell your body to suck it up.
Yeah.
And then whatever the fuck differentiate.
That's what I
said. Between owie or oof, that's gonna hurt, or flirting with danger, or we're done. Like that's broken.
Yeah.
You know. So, but to understand, you know, I don't know. I'm not breaking. I hate that. But you have to understand, right? Because there's a certain level that you gotta. Well, you don't have to, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, like when I didn't do it, Santos violently attacked me and dislocated my thumb. I was minding my own business. I was I was colored.
You're just in there.
Yeah, I was just hanging out.
Yeah,
and he fucking jumped. Actually, I am a little pissed. Not pissed. I'm not pissed, but I was a little mad because we were flowing, and then I berimboloed and then back butterflies, and I was gonna grab his hips and then take his back, and as soon as I lifted him in the air, he just goes wah, and just fucking psycho, and he lands on my hand, and I'm like, mother lover, and then I'm looking at my thumb and it's going fucking backwards.
It's pointing backwards with your hand
the other direction. I'm like, you son of a biscuit.
It's telling you to U-turn. Mad. It's like U-turn.
Yeah, so just fucking put it back in, and then I put it in my shorts, and I think I was more mad because I had to live up to my own standard than anything else, because I'm always telling everyone, you can train with injuries. If your eyes work, and you can take notes, you can train, period. And so here I am, like, I can't. And we're 15 minutes in, so I've got a whole 45 minutes of misery ahead of me. I was actually mad. I was mad. Fuck you, Santos. I was mad. So I was mad because I had to stay and grapple for 45 minutes with my hand in my pants. I was mad. I was mad that I had to live up to my stupid rules. Stupid rules are dumb. Rules are stupid. Anyways, the whole point was it's a thing that you have to build. You have to, yeah. Well, it's like, okay, so your thumb's hurting. It's not broken. It just doesn't move right now, Just don't hit it. Put it in your shorts, and keep grappling, and you're gonna be fine. You're not.
But didn't that hurt though? Because as you're moving your legs, wasn't it hitting your thumb and shit like that?
I was crying in my heart.
That's good to know that you cry
in my heart,
and you have a heart.
Not outside.
It's definitely good to know.
Yeah,
because some
no,
had some
it's
questions.
fine. It's just I think it's just making that decision, that choice. Like,
yeah,
don't quit. Keep going. You're fine. There's some, but then there's some things, like when I blew my knee out, I couldn't walk.
Yeah,
but I still went downstairs and I still taught classes.
Right.
I just sat in the corner, pissed.
And you're just yelling at people.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, stop sucking.
Yeah. When you need me in the ribs during that spar, right? Like, I think you're right. Like, at that point, you assess real quick. Like, but there was a pause. There was like once I took a knee, I was like, I can still breathe and still move. Mm-hmm. It doesn't hurt right now that bad, but as the rounds went on, no matter what I was doing, it started hurting. I was like, oh, I can move. But when we started grappling class, when our spar session were over, we went to grappling, and I was working with Nate, and you were doing this drill where one person on the ground, the other person is going to come at them on their feet. They have to pass. And if you pass, you lose. That person gets on the ground or whatever, And I did something where, I pushed his leg down and I tried to pass. And just the way I stretched, that's when I felt like that. I don't know. It's a pain that you feel that, like I say, you're crying in your heart. It was an emotional pain at that time. That's when I was like, okay, I can't. I'm done. That hurt really bad. But yeah, you make a choice, right? Like you do make a choice where it's to your level. And I think that's valuable. The reason why I say I think is because other people may not value that, but I think that's valuable. And martial arts and what else does provide that level of tolerance when you go and you participate in it that you naturally build, right? I just right now off the top of my head, I don't think of anything else.
Yeah, combat sports. I don't know. I don't think there is.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I heard you clap your hands together.
No. My stomach's talking to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Food time.
Yes. But later. It can wait.
Combat sports is one of the best, if not the best, ways of introducing yourself to yourself.
What are your ways in the gym at Team United that you introduced that? I mean, I went through it, but for the people.
It depends on individual. It depends on the individual because each individual is different, right? So, we had one individual. This was a while back ago. She was training and she had already been through some trauma. I can't remember. I think it was like maybe like I don't know if it was like DV or I really can't remember actually. I just know she had it. Right. And it was just grappling. So it wasn't like drills or anything like that. And so we were grappling and she had hit a point where she hit her end, her threshold.
Mm-hmm.
And so she took a little bit. I think she took a round off, and she was gathering her thoughts and her stuff. And then I don't know, it's a really cool environment because nobody coddled her. Nobody stopped, everybody kept grappling. Obviously they cared because after class, everybody was like, are you okay? Whatever. But she took a round off. She gathered her thoughts and her things, and then we chatted for a quick second, and I was like, you got to get back out there. You have to go grapple. I made up some reason that wasn't, I don't know, like, we're odd if you leave, nobody's gonna have a partner. So, like, I mean, that's a thing, but you know, like that your partner needs you. You need to go grapple with them.
Yeah.
You gotta work. You have to work through that stuff, and then she did, and she worked through it.
Yeah.
And I think that was it was the last time that she had hit that threshold. She passed that threshold. And anyways, it was really cool. It was really, really cool. And everybody was understanding of that. And then everybody obviously checked on her after class. And
yeah.
So it's not really, I don't know. I don't know that it's necessarily me that does anything for that. I think it's just the environment, I guess.
Just it naturally comes with the territory.
Yeah, I think, and also, well, I mean, I don't know, because combat sports introduces you to your own self. It'll bring your inner bitch out.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it will. Right?
Definitely does.
Like on the fucking mats crying because you're hurt and you got kicked in the fucking ribs, and you're all bottom lips like, I'm a man. Fuck you. Like I've been there many times.
Yeah.
So, but it's, I don't know. Like when we're doing whatever we're doing in class, and another example, we had a workout planned, and one individual did not do this workout, and you can't make people do the things. You kind of just, I pulled her aside after the fact, and then just said, your body's the vessel. It's really cool to have all these techniques, but if you can't perform, if you can't move, if you can't, function, if you can't go at least a 3-minute round, I mean, you need to do, you at least need to do an hour, 10, you need to do 10 rounds at least. They don't have to be all hard, go, crazy, but you need to have that gas tank. It's cool to have a fucking Ferrari, but if you ain't got no gas, what good is the Ferrari going to do you?
That's a good point. Yeah. You can have as many techniques as you want, but if you can't execute them, you don't have the ability, then
it goes down to that mental thing.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have that mental toughness to make that decision to do that workout because coach isn't there, well then you're weak. Don't be weak. You make the choice.
Yeah. I think it's also like, if you are gonna not do it, right? You're gonna make that choice. No one else makes it for you.
How every individual is different, and having the gym finds that place, but it's not necessarily the coach that pulls it out. In terms of developing that fortitude.
Yeah, I suppose. Making decisions.
What is it? I just had it in my head that, like, the gym is there, like everything is there for you, sitting and waiting, and you're the last ingredient to get thrown in the pot, right? To make it what it is, to make it the right thing, to make it a complete. But you do have to get in there. You say like they say entering the door is like 50% of the battle. Right? I think that there's an in-between too, that from the door to the mat, that's another decision you're going to have to make, because that you still have to walk through, you still have to get your equipment on, and at any given point you can bail out, right? So you have to fight that, and once your foot's on the mat, you're pretty close to achieving whatever goal. You're really close to it. But even then, like, I think you and we saw people quit on the mats before, like, whether they hit their limit. And I think when they hit their limit, like you told me, you see it in them when they're done, right? How often, and this is a question, how often have you found people quitting and you can just see it, that they're not done, but they're just deciding to quit? Because I think that's a difference. Like, knowing when you're done and going, I given it my all, I gotta, that's it. or quitting. Quitting is knowing you have more to give and you don't do it. All right. How often do you see that?
I don't know. It's a tough question to answer because I think that there are different levels to that. So then you have people that just come in for regular, and maybe their day just getting into class, that was the toughest battle for them for that day. And then you have, other people where it's like they need to be they are just at a different level. Maybe like Vitali. I don't know. He's an interesting case. He's been on my mind a little bit lately, but he is an interesting case.
Definitely has a gas tank, that's for sure.
Yeah, he does.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. He when I'm done with him, he literally jumps up and then he's picking me up off the floor. Fuck you. Last time I told him, leave me alone. I'm gonna stay down here. I'm old. Just let me stay. Like, I'm just fucking resting.
I like the weather down here.
Yeah,
it's nice.
and he literally jumps up too. It's like bloop. Must be nice.
Well, I mean, like
Youth.
you remember being in your 20s though. You were like that. I was like that. After a real hard session, we pop back up.
Yeah, I guess.
The only thing I jump up fast enough for that is like fried chicken.
Huh.
That's a joke.
Okay.
Kind of. Pizza.
Like pizza?
Oh God. Hardest battle of my life. Pizza and nachos. Sorry, we're going off topic.
Yeah, we're way.
I'm hungry, so it's probably gonna be.
I ate breakfast. I never eat breakfast.
What'd you eat for breakfast? How'd you feel?
Huh?
How did you feel?
After eating breakfast?
Yeah.
Full?
Not. Well, like, did you feel like crap? Did you?
Oh,
feel...
yeah, I feel like not good right now because I ate bread. I even told myself not to eat bread, and I fucking ate bread. God damn it.
Was it good bread at least?
Yeah.
Okay, because if it was like the regular.
No, it was good. Like, they make it local. It's good. It was very, very good.
Do you got anything, Wendy? Yeah.
I think you're selling yourself short a little bit on the coaching piece and that every individual needs to show it for themselves. I think that's a sign of strong leadership, is having the skill set and the intuition to differentiate between those levels of students and their goals and their performance and their capacity, and to push or expect differently. That's a leadership quality that comes from Team United and comes from Chris.
I agree with that. You do assess individually, and you do know the students. You do know a lot of the students, and you train us per. I see it too, and that's a good leadership quality. It's good to have in the gym because obviously different people, but you do train and you do talk to people in certain ways. Is as you get to know them, to get through to them. That's a thing. That you are right. That is a thing.
It's translating into the other coaches as well, which is exciting. So that mentorship from the leadership top down, I think is helping develop good coaches.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, you wanted to. You're like.
I was thinking about something and I can't remember what it was. Oh, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about because you put people in well, either you do it for yourself or you do it for maybe like your kids, right? Like if you take your kid and you throw them into football.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Oh, I've heard some crazy stories about some of those coaches. The coaches legitimately fighting other coaches after or during a football game or a baseball game. Like, that's crazy. That's wild. Who does that?
Oh, they get
all amped up.
Yeah, like.
But anyways,
yeah, they do.
I'm not there. I'm not judging. But anyway, I think, I don't remember. I don't really remember where I was going with that, but I think it's just like you guys were saying, the leadership is a thing. The leadership's a thing. It has to be a thing, right? I mean, it is what it is. Has to be. I don't know. I don't know that I like that much responsibility, though. I don't think that I need to be having that much responsibility for that. I mean, this is me we're talking about.
Yeah, but I think my opinion with good leaders, often I found that a lot of them really didn't ask for the part. They just fit the bill and the people chose them. Like some of the best leaders I've had in my life, they really didn't, it wasn't them raising their hands. They just, it's kind of who they are. It's just their personality, you know? So I think it's relative towards the way you train your gym, the way you train in Team United. This is who you are. We see you as a leader and you're like, that's a lot of responsibility. I get that, but you take it on anyway. It's just who you are. So I get where you're coming from, but you're just naturally, you take it on. And some of the best leaders are the ones that never raised their hand for it. They just fit the bill and the people chose them. You know, like you wanted just to coach people and help people out, right? That's your desire, to help them with martial arts and help change their lives in a positive way. But it became so much more than that, because I think it's just more of who you are. And I think that's same thing with the students. They come in, how they develop, it's just based on who they are. So yeah, you may not want the responsibility, but I think just naturally you take on that role, just who you are. It's just who it is. Yeah, I think leaders can be developed, but I do believe great leaders are born just that way. Like the qualities, it's like, I don't believe everyone can be great leaders, right? It's the ones that take them on, and a lot of them are just ones they didn't even raise their hand. So you're a leader, sir, and you're just going to have to fucking live with it.
Yay.
Because I know you're not going to want to close down the school. I know you don't want to do that. And I know you're going to give it everything you got when you do go to the school. So you're kind of at a double-edged sword, sir. You have no choice. Life does not give you choices right now. Not in this.
That difference of commanding respect versus demanding respect.
Oh, the differences between that. Differences between demanding or commanding respect. I think the commanding respect is commanding it of yourself first. Having a standard and having enough respect for yourself, you know, in your day-to-day stuff, right? Like whatever that is. And all, well, yeah, because how you do, who'd I say that to? I don't remember who I said it to. Oh, it was Brooklyn. Any chance I get to pick on that kid, hell yeah, she needs it. How you do anything is how you do everything. I said that to her once. She was not happy because she knew I was right and I knew I was right. And we're like, yeah, you got to do it right. You got to do it correctly. You got to, you know, or at least the best that you can. Do it wrong the best you can until you get it right. But anyways, yeah, commanding respect of yourself first. I think if you command respect of yourself first, then those who are around you will see that, and then they'll give you that respect rather than demanding it from them or fear tactics or anything like that. We talked about that over in, I think it was Rawson. I don't know. It was this last couple of days, but some people call me coach, some people don't call me coach, and I don't know. I don't prefer it either way, or I like to leave that decision up to them, for them to decide whether they want to give that respect or not. I've earned it. Like, I don't have to make them, you know, call me coach. I'm not going to make them do that. I know me, and I know that I've earned that word. I think it's a word, it's a coveted word, and it's a word that has to be earned, I think, very often. But I'm not going to make the students, you know, do it. I would rather them make that choice on their own, you know, give them time in the gym. And I've seen it over and over where give them the time in the gym, and they'll make that decision, and then and they were never really forced to do it or was part of some kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think that's the best respect is when you don't have to tell them,
Yeah.
Or I think that's a good way to lead is you lead them the best you can. You live by example, you lead by example, and then let them make the choice. Either way, I feel that. Feel that, dog.
All right.
I think that's why I think like we why I continue to go to Team United. I think because it's a choice. You don't make me feel bad about anything. You don't have to. I'm a grown person. If I want to eat cake and get fat, eat pizza and get fat, that's my choice. But you are just gonna buzz in my ear every now. Hey, you need to train, But you don't really. When I'm there, you're there. That's where it's at. You give your 100%. You expect it from me, whichever I'm able to give, and then we go from there, right? But you don't demand anything other than their best when they're in the gym, right? But whether I don't know, like I've been around those coaches. Call me coach. Like we call them coach because they're coach, but that's a good thing to have because that's how you know that you've, at least in their eyes, you've earned it to them. Like, or they respect you that much where they call you coach.
I think the environment also weeds those people out too.
Yeah, we talk about that
more.
a lot.
More. I don't know how to finish that whole thing where I just started stuttering. But anyways, like the environment does weed them out. They'll either stay and you'll. I don't know if it's a good word or not, but you'll fucking conform, right? You'll switch over to the dark side, or you won't.
Yeah. I think conformity isn't always a bad thing, though.
Because they come in. Almost everyone. Why are you here? Basically, I want to learn kickboxing and get in shape. That's not the real reason. There's always a real reason, and some people it's I need to learn self-defense because I was in this scenario, or I have some emotional things that I need to work through, and I've heard that this can help, or I was picked on as a kid, or I'm actually overweight and I do need to do something about that. Anyway, so there's always like an underlying reason. I don't really remember where I was going with that, but that's what right. So it's like they all come in for a real reason, not because they want to learn how to kickbox and grapple or whatever and get in shape. There's a better reason. There's a real reason behind all that. And eventually, this said individual will see that, and they'll realize that, and then they'll understand that they put themselves in your charge, whoever the coach is, in your charge, and you'll have to. They end up trusting in that, and then they'll submit to that like it never happened. Submit to that leadership,
Yeah.
So
it's my youngest.
Yes, everyone knows now. Yeah, everyone.
Yeah, I agree. Everyone is fighting for something. And I told Kim this Thanksgiving workout. That was awesome, but yet I paid for it for 3 days. Everyone is fighting for something. And I told Kim, I was like, you don't have to be a fighter to be a fighter, and that you don't have to be in competitive combat, MMA, in the cage to need to fight something. And I think the fight's emotional and mental as well as just it's like competition. It is emotional, mental as well, right? So even though people aren't trying to come and fight in the cage, you can still learn that I'm losing that word. It was.
Are you talking about like that mental fortitude and that?
Yeah, that fighters do develop. You
discipline?
You can still develop that without going into the cage, without even like competing on the mats or learning how to compete on the mats.
Yeah.
But I agree, everyone is fighting for something. It's what are they fighting for? And what is it? And is it as they go through the trial, as they go through the crucible, they'll know if it's really worth it to them. Like, have you ever done something like that where you're like, I'm going to do this, and then as you're doing that, and you're just to a certain point, you're like, I really am not this. No, I don't want to do this anymore. Not with fighting, but with anything else.
Probably.
Yeah, but we won't know until we get there. So I think I agree with Wendy. Someone's always fighting for something. I think that's why they do go to the gym eventually. Ultimately, like you said, there's a reason, right?
Well, I think
they're fighting for something.
I think adults are like kids, though, right? Kids want structure. They want that discipline. They need it.
Yeah.
And they know they need it. And they're always poking at the bear, trying to figure out how they can get away with it. But deep down, they want to fall back on that. They need that. That's where they find all the good stuff. And adults, I think adults are just the same. I think that, I don't know. I think the conversation can go all kinds of wild here in about a second or 10.
Well, we got a minute and 16 before I have to reset the camera.
Okay. Well, yeah. I just don't want to get all too crazy into my own personal thoughts of what I think society is currently. But I think, well, also with the COVID thing, there's a lot of people out there that are, I don't know, I think they're searching / needing something. And I think we might be filling that up with all the other things that we think are supposed to be important, but they're not. Yeah, just going back, I won't go too deep into it, but I think that adults are just like kids, and they're looking for that. And everybody, I think, I could be wrong. I don't fucking know. I probably am, but I don't care. I think adults are looking for that structure and that discipline, that mental fortitude. I think we lie to ourselves quite a bit, saying we're this and we're that. But then, I don't know. I tell Brooklyn all the time, she's like, whatever, I don't know. Like, I broke my finger. I'm like, could be worse.
Yeah.
My arm fell off. Could be worse. And I think that we kind of miss that a little bit, where we, whatever it is that we're dealing with at the moment, it probably sucks, to some degree, but it could be worse. And I think that's a mental toughness, understanding that, Oh, actually, yeah, you know what? I think maybe, possibly, strongly,
most likely,
most likely, leaning in that direction. It's a very good probability.
Good high level of certainty.
Yeah.
You go down the road on this one.
Keep it going.
Yeah, let's go. Go pull up the Googs on this one.
Yeah.
Where are all the similes of this?
That's funny. So, when I was a younger man, I was, just fucking around, being a loser and a quitter and all those things that young men do sometimes. But, through fighting has developed me into who I am now currently. Maybe not all the way, but, well, I don't know. You could attribute a lot of it to that. But I think without the adversity, right? So one of somebody commented on the thing, and I just wrote a quick rundown of, they asked, what was one of the toughest things you've gone through? One of the toughest things for me was having to fight for custody for Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I was very draining on all of me, all aspects of myself. And of course, if I didn't have fighting to fall back on, training and all that stuff, it'd be a lot different. But I think that's what it was being able to go through the adversity and then come out the other side. I don't know, you can go through it or grow through it, right? Those fancy words that those people say. And I think that I did grow through it. I just didn't go through the motions. You know, I'd learned a lot going through that about myself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you learn a lot about that combat sports too, right? But I mean, you can't train forever at that level.
Yeah.
So I'll never be able to fall back on that, right? You know, going through rough patch and well, fuck it, we're in fight camp, so we'll take it out on the mats. So
Yeah.
he can't do that. I can't do that now. Vitali's helping me up off the mats after we're done grappling. I'm tired.
Yeah.
But going through life stuff and learning how to mentally fight through that, you know. But anyways, yeah, that's probably a moment that I can fall back on and remember that was very difficult in having to develop that mental toughness.
Yeah. And I think, well, martial arts and competing I feel through experience, it can help through past trauma. You know, I think trauma where people don't have release or they don't have safe environments, they can lose themselves in something like this weird dark shroud is best I can explain it. And martial arts can peel that away slowly. Because, you know, you mentioned it earlier that it'll bring the inner bitch out of you, but it'll also bring a lot of other things. The onion layer,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think, like, you know, the hardest time you went through, that's pretty rough but you were able to have martial arts. I think for me, having the hardest times in my life was before training and competing and after. But martial arts helped me. I learned how to identify myself of who I am. You know, like kind of like my core beliefs, my core values, and stay strong with it. No one's gonna bend it. But yeah, there's some martial arts can help you through some real rough stuff, or it can help you heal from stuff that you didn't have it back, or that you went through before you had it, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I can't imagine that. I have 2 kids. Custody battle, there'll definitely be a couple black eyes. Not against them, but they'll definitely, oh my God. That sounds rough, man. Luckily, you had something and some people to put it out on.
Could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
Could have been worse.
Yeah. Yeah, could have been worse.
But Junior, your inspiration, you talked about when you were young and finding you were drawn to martial arts.
I was always drawn to it, yeah.
You talked about the magazines and...
Oh, yeah. So growing up, I was always into like just something about martial arts, man, like the movies, just growing up. And I remember always being fixated on the black belt magazines. Like that was my jam. Jean-Claude Van Damme, obviously, you know, like that's who I've seen. And then you got like Bolo Young. I think it was like Samo something. To me, these are just legendary people, right? Like but they were movie stars, for the most part, or not for the most part, but that's how I seen them. But yeah, I was always attracted to something like that. There's something there. And I remember at night, and I remember underneath the bed, there was like a stack of black belt magazines. And we weren't, okay, I'm not proud of this, but I'm also not regretting it. We didn't have all the money, so I would steal.
I'm telling.
Yeah, I would steal some of the black belt magazines.
Where was this at?
I'm not telling you. This is also a really long time ago.
What city? County?
Guam. So, yeah, good luck on their investigations. Anyway, investigative. I don't even think that's a word. Anyway, but yeah, I was always attracted to that. Maybe it was just the way I grew up. But martial arts was just always something I wanted to do. And once I got a chance to do it in my late or early 21 is when I first took my lesson. And because I was able to pay for it with my own money, I was all in. I was like, I remember 15, 16 years old, my cousin would bring those UFC VHS tapes, you know, watching all the OGs. And I'm talking the OGs fight where Hackney was fighting this Asian guy and was punching his balls.
Keith Hackney.
Yeah. That guy, that was brutal. Like, I was like, oh my God. This is the most amazing freaking sport in the world. But yeah, that was the thing. And I think, I wish, because I know I talked to you about like, childhood trauma. I wish I had martial arts. I mean, I'm glad I found it when I did, because that helped peel a lot of layers. Oh boy, did I have a lot of layers. But I wish I did have that, some place to go to. And I have it now though, so I use it. I don't have any trauma, I guess. I don't have any trauma that's recent. Other than my dad, that was a rough one. I wish I found your gym when my dad passed. That would have been a good one. But my past martial arts and training really helped me like lock it down and go, hey, we got to keep moving forward. Even though I think I could have done a better job. But I mean, we all can, right? We can always do a better job. Hindsight's 20/20. But yeah, like if it wasn't for martial arts, I don't think I would have handled a lot of things better. I don't think I would have peeled that onion back of my childhood trauma. Like you, like where would you have been, or what would you have done if you didn't have martial arts or training, right? During the custody battle, right? What, like,
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Like if that was absent, I can't even think if that was absent. Like if I didn't have martial arts in my 20s, like that was majority of my 20s. Work, martial arts.
Yeah.
Like without that, I'd be blank. But I wouldn't prefer anything else though, because that did help me. It helped me battle sobriety. So when I went sober, it's funny, when I stopped competing, I completely, it's weird, I lost myself, and I feel like that like
big identity,
huge identity, where like you said, we're all fighting for something, right? I didn't know what I was fighting for anymore, and I think for me, I always had something to fight for, being poor, trying to fight for, good money or whatever. Or when I was young, trying to I want a job. I got a job. Okay. Succeeded in that. But the competition, once I didn't have anything to fight for, like I completely lost myself. But if I didn't have that mental fortitude to keep going every day and just going, I'll find myself, just got to keep going. I found myself in career. Like I'm huge in business. I'm huge in leadership, team building, stuff like that. But yeah, you're right. It's an identity thing. I can't imagine like when you're like, well, I can kind of like when you were ready to retire. How did you feel? Did you kind of go through the same thing, like where you're like, fuck, I can't fight anymore? Like, did you go through the same not identity crisis? Maybe.
I think I don't know. Might still be navigating it. Because, I mean, who doesn't like fighting? I fucking love fighting. I love fighting. I'm not young enough I can't train at that level and compete at that level. But, man, fighting is the best. Punching people and getting punched and the training, like all of it sucked. I'll never go into a sauna again. I'm
traumatized. There's not enough martial arts to get you over it.
Nope.
Okay, some things martial arts can't fix.
Yeah, some things.
Some things training and
bring the worst out in you.
So no saunas. Yeah, we know what to get him for his birthday.
I think it's I'm in a just different, I don't know. I have to understand my age and my injuries and my limitations, and I have to adjust accordingly. So it's a constant. I think it's still a constant thing where I have to tell myself not to do that, and I usually don't listen, and I pay the price. But maybe someday I'll listen.
You're pretty capable though. Still, I know you have a comparison of the heydays or even in your 30s versus now, but you're still pretty freaking capable.
Nah, I suppose. No, that's not true.
You don't think so?
Yeah, if like Joey or Vassal decided to be like, hey, let's do like 5 5s, like let's go hard, I'll be like, all right, and then I'll probably die.
But you die a death you wanted to die,
that's
though.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be a good time.
as you're fading out, you'd be like, "This is the end.
This is the best."
Yes, samurai death. I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
No.
They can beat me up.
Well, I mean,
They talk all the shit. They're like, oh, you're an animal, blah blah blah, whatever the fuck they say. No, it's not. They beat me up.
well, perspective is. I was always taught perspective is Bible, right? So your reality is what you believe, even if it's different than what everyone else sees. So that's valid. You feel that way. That's valid.
It's not a feeling. I'm old. I have injuries. I'm broken.
Well, you feel that you can't go.
I can't.
Well, in
Probably-
comparison to what you were when you're 20.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm
Yeah.
comparing it to when I was younger.
Well, that's why we carry things.
Yeah.
You don't seem too happy about that.
Of course, I'm not happy.
Who is? Have you ever met anyone happy? Like, yes, I'm getting older. I'm not able anymore. This is amazing.
Yeah,
So maybe you are normal. You're going through what normal people go through.
probably.
Yeah.
Next thing I need to get is like a Lamborghini or something, or all the Jeeps. I need all the Jeeps. That'd be cool. I want to really like. Okay, so
I want a McLaren.
dream.
Okay.
If I make it to this age,
Okay.
this might be the way I go. But you know those cars they race on the dirt roads, the rally cars?
Yeah.
I want to do that, but on a mountain road. Do you know how cool that would be? Oh my God.
Well, it would probably be a one trip for you because you'd have to have a lot of training to
It's not.
learn how to race.
It's a
those.
steering wheel and a gas pedal.
It's a lot more to that.
No.
There is a lot more to that.
No.
Yes, there is a
Steering-
science. No,
Nope.
there is.
Nope.
There is.
Nope.
Like if you're talking about rally racing.
Yeah, in the mountains.
Yes, you will die. You would fall off a mountain. If you go really fast and do it like the way they do it, yeah, there's like martial arts. There is a training. There is disciplines you need to know. There's maths and science behind all
Gas
of it.
pedal, steering wheel, clutch downshift.
There's angles of the turns, how loose the gravel is. Anyway, we're going way left field, but
Really just don't,
Yeah.
I don't appreciate you
no.
crushing my brain. I'm doing it.
You got a
I don't
rally
care.
race with the Jeep.
That's a Jeep. That's not a race rally
You got
at
it.
all.
You can make it. You can make anything fast with enough money.
Oh.
If you want all the Jeeps, is assuming you're a billionaire.
If I was a billionaire, yeah, I'd buy one of those Hemi ones. Yeah. And put Dana 60s under it, long arm it, re-gear it. Yeah. Probably run 37s, not 40s.
37-inch rims
What? No.
or tires? Oh, I don't know. You're talking to me like I know what you're talking about.
Oh. Well. I don't know.
Speaking of billionaires, drop in the comments what you would do with the $1 billion.